Hello, everyone. It is October 29th, 2021, and it is API night number 23. We're really excited to be joined by you this evening and also to have Lori Crate here from Mymizu with us as well. For those who are not familiar with our immersive program, week 7 is API week. This is a week where industry partners from our community graciously donate their time, mentorship, and support to our students to help them on their journey as engineers. We'll get into student presentations in just a moment. But first, Laurie, thank you for being here tonight, and I'll pass it over to you to share a few words.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be back here virtually at Code Chrysalis, and I'm just before we see the awesome projects everyone's been working on this week, I just want to say a few words about Mymizu and our mission and what we do. Hopefully, some of you know us by now, but I'll just take a few minutes to introduce to anyone who doesn't. So Mymizu is a nonprofit that started 2 years ago now, and the reason we began, if I asked you to close your eyes and think of a nice relaxing beach somewhere, you'd probably think of an image something like this. But unfortunately, the reality in much of the world and in Japan as well is there is pollution, plastic pollution, unfortunately, which can be found on these beautiful natural environments. And this problem is only growing more and more severe. If you take a PET bottle, the most common type of plastic pollution in the environment, and I usually would ask for some hands up for this question, but if anyone wants to shout in the comments quickly, please go for it. I'll give you a few seconds to think about how long it would take for a single one of these PET bottles to break down in the natural environment once it's out there. And the answer is 450 years, roughly. I mean, this is an estimate. We don't know. It could be even longer. And this is really scary because of the volume of plastic out there. And this is obviously very damaging to ecosystems and to the environment itself. By 2050, it's estimated there'll be more plastic as a volume than fish in the ocean, unbelievably. And this is really something we want to change. But plastic pollution also has impacts on human health. Believe it or not, every week, on average, we ingest 5 grams, I think, which is equivalent to a credit card, or I think, which is quite scary for ourselves, for our bodies. Thirdly, plastic pollution is related to the climate crisis. Just the production of plastic itself could emit a huge volume of carbon dioxide and contribute further to climate change. But also, lastly, we want to touch on the fact that a lot of the plastic pollution we produce, especially in the developed world, gets sent to other countries who don't have the proper facilities or methods to handle this kind of waste, and it ends up in their land, damaging not just the environment but the communities in which it ends up. So it's a really big crisis. And then at Mymizu, we want to think about what can we, as a nonprofit, can we actually do to solve this kind of huge plastic crisis. So we want to zoom in on plastic bottles, of which 1 million are used every minute, and not all of them get recycled. It really does vary by country, but unfortunately, a lot of them will end up in rivers and ecosystems, and that was the driving reason we launched Mymizu. What if we could make a solution which makes it not only easy to live sustainably, but hopefully fun and engaging? So 2 years ago now, we launched an app, the Mymizu app, which brings together data about public water fountains and businesses, restaurants, cafes, hotels, and many other types of businesses who are willing to offer free water to anyone to come in with a reusable bottle, so you don't have to buy it from a shop or a vending machine, and it's free as well. Our data comes from the users themselves who can, in the app, they can submit new locations, and shops and businesses can also fill out an easy form to become a refill partner and be displayed in our app. And we have an amazing team you can see on the screen who actually check every single one of these to make sure they're a real place and safe, and put them into our app. So to date, roughly, we've signed up 1,700 of partner businesses across all 47 prefectures of Japan, ranging from small cafes, independent hotels, up to big partners. We have like Audi, Lululemon, among others, who are willing to take part in the Mymizu project. So we also want to encourage people to feel like they are having an individual impact to fight this crisis. So our app will also help you track every time you make a refill. So you can see not only how many bottles you've saved, but CO2, the money you save by not buying single-use plastic bottle of water, and also the water you've drunk, which is obviously great for your own health to stay hydrated. And a few more numbers to illustrate our achievements to date is that we've had the app downloaded coming up to 200,000 times, which is amazing. We've added more than 3,500 refill spots, registered the 1,700 businesses, and through their refill tracking feature, we've tracked around 360,000 refills so far, which is really great that we have a tangible impact on this problem. So Mymizu, in summary, is about blending technology and community to create this systemic change at every level, from the individual up to the institution and society as a whole. We work a lot with partners, not just companies, but schools, universities, and government organizations, universities as well. And we engage youth groups. And also some huge companies now have approached us in most cases. So we've got a wide variety from automotive companies, Audi, water companies like Kinsui and Brita, pharmaceuticals, Starbucks, a really wide range of companies are engaging with us to tackle this problem. Recently, we've also worked with Nike, and I can show you a quick clip of a commercial that we co-produced, which is really great that we have a huge brand like this working with us. Oops, sorry. And yeah, I touched on government collaborations. We've also worked with Kobe City to try and engage on a city level. How can we make the urban environment a more refill-friendly place? And we've also been working with companies with their employees directly on the Mymizu challenge, where we sign up employees in teams to compete to see who can track the most refills and hopefully fight the plastic crisis together. We've been very lucky to enjoy media coverage since we launched by not just in Japan, but all over the world as well, which is amazing. And recently, we've also been enjoying seeing user-generated content as well. This really makes our day and helps us stay motivated to do this. And we hope Mymizu, and it has become a movement for all, from a really wide variety of groups and individuals to come together to work on a project like this is really incredible. We've received lots of awards as well, from including the Ministry of Environment, but lots of support as well from various organizations. And what's next for Mymizu? We want to build an even bigger network of refill partners, hopefully, and leverage the power of social, sorry, that maybe is a typo. We want to leverage the power of society to create change. So we want to bring together a variety of people and reach a critical mass where we can really, really drive change and create a kind of different lifestyle where we avoid creating this plastic waste. But at the same time, we always want to keep it fun and make it rewarding so that you feel happy and engaged to use our service and engage with this problem. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. But thank you so much for taking the time, everyone in Code Chrysalis, to work with us. And we're really excited to see the projects you've worked on this week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laurie. We're honored to have an industry partner with such an important mission. And we'll turn it over to our students here in just a moment. But before that, I want to share a little more info about our Industry Partners Week. This is week 7 of our Immersive program. Day 1 of this week is a jam-packed day where students undertake a halfway review. They are tested on everything they learned at the beginning of this course, and they build a full stack application from scratch in just one day. On the second day, we asked them in their second ever team project to build a full stack app again from the ground up, with the only requirement being that they use our industry partners technology. In this case, that partner, of course, is Mymizu. The apps you'll be seeing tonight were created within a tight deadline of just 3 days. So what our students have accomplished here is impressive. They've gone from learning basics such as for loops and recursion in our pre-course to closures and promises and frameworks like React and Vue in the beginning of our Immersive to now building a full stack application. And this one connects to an API like those provided by Mymizu. So this time it's a little bit different. Mymizu have given our students 2 optional secret missions. In addition to whatever their app does, they may either improve upon the provided map functionality or add gamification. Did they succeed in just 3 days? Let's find out. Team Aqua Teen Ecoforce, get ready to present in just a moment. Their app, Mymizu for Business, provides businesses with all the statistics they need to promote sustainability and eco-friendliness of their brands. Team, are you ready to go?
We're ready to go.
All right, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. We are Team Aqua Teen Ecoforce, and we will be talking to you about Mymizu for Business. First, let's meet the team. I'm James. I was the tech lead on the project, and I worked full stack, mostly on database migrations, seeding, routes, and the front-end CSS. Valters was our maps expert and helped write some other front-end components. And Sumit was full stack, specifically working on authentication, endpoints, and user components. Valters is going to talk you through our proposal.
Thank you, James. Mymizu team has achieved a lot of quite impressive things in short period of time. And of course, we know that Mymizu wants to achieve more. So what we propose is Mymizu for Business. With Mymizu for Business, your clients, the business owners, can get even more out of their relationship with Mymizu in order to get closer to our goals of sustainable water consumption and less plastic waste. With our additions, Mymizu will hopefully increase the hype around refill locations by showing their popularity based on their commitment to sustainable water consumption through a refill counter, increasing engagement from your regular users. Now let's look at our 2 personas. Our first persona is Hanako. She is the owner of a small clothing store in Tokyo. At her shop, she sells clothing which are sustainable and organic. She has been offering her shop as a refill spot for quite a while already, and she is always looking for more ways to reduce environmental impact. She wants to be able to see the impact of her actions as Mymizu partner and show her customers also their impact on environment. Mymizu for Business will help her do that. So when she logins as a business user, she will see the refill tabs connected with her businesses. If she has many businesses, she will be able to see all of them and can check each one to see how much plastic has been saved and how much water she has given to the customers. And our second persona is Deepak. He lives in India, but he very often travels to Japan for work and pleasure. While being in Japan, he enjoys walking around the city for sightseeing, and he wants to save up money by not buying water in plastic bottles at the convenience stores. He has seen the impact of plastic waste on the environment in India and always tries to do what he can to reduce his plastic consumption, but while in Japan, it is quite hard for him to find free water refills, and because of that, he started to use Mymizu application. And now it's time for Sumit to show us the demo.
Thank you, Walters. Okay, Hello, everyone. Let's see the demo. So this is the landing page of our application. You can see a login button. So when we will click on login, you can see an option to login. So you can enter username or email address, and then you can enter the password. So we have already created a user, so we don't have to sign up right now. We can just directly log in. When we will press continue, we will be authenticated with Auth0, and we can see the user has been logged in. You can see the logout button at the top. Now on the left side of this, you can see the details of the users, and on the right side of this, you can see a map. So basically, Miss Hanako has logged in right now. She can see the details of her business. She can see her email ID and things like that. And she can also see the impact. She can also see her contribution that she is making to save the environment. She can see out of all of her tab locations, how many bottles she was able to save, and how many, what was the amount of water that she has been able to serve. So Hanako can have many tab locations. So currently she is having 3 tab locations, and you can see in the map, we have marker for every tab location. Whenever you will click on the marker, you can see the details of the refill location. You can see name, you can see the address. You can also see the total number of refills at that location. So, well, she is very happy to see, oh, at this location, there are 27 of refills. So she is very happy to see that she is making a good contribution to the environment. And yes, you can also see the opening and closing hours in this marker. Well, so, okay, our application is very mobile friendly. You can see the mobile view here. So you can see everything is looking nice. And whenever you will click on a marker, you can see everything comes up nicely. Okay, so what we will do now, we will just do some refills and we will see how it is going to come on our map. So, okay, let's do 2 refills for this particular tab ID, which is 178334. Let's do 1 refill. Nice. Let's do 1 more. Cool. Now let's be back to our application and we will see that, yeah, it's loading again. And when you will tap on the marker, you can see that, oh yeah, it increased. Now there are total refills are 29, and the amount of water served has also been updated. So, well, this is so good. She is very happy to see that her refill locations are actually useful for people. And well, when she is done, she can click on logout and she will be logged out from our application. Well, let's be back to the presentation. Well, so how do we achieve all this in this short period of time? So, well, we created some tables for our purpose to separate business users. So we have data related to like business name, and there were some couple of things which are needed for a business user. So we created a separate table for that. We also created a one more table where we connect a business user to multiple tabs. So that's why we created 2 tables. We created the endpoints so that we can query data from those tables. We also queried data from the existing Mymizu database so that we can get all the tab locations. And well, when all this backend was set up, we developed the front end in React, and we use authentication with Auth0 so that user can log in. Well, this was all for the architecture part. Now, James will discuss about the tech stack. Over to you, James.
Thank you, Sumit. So we use Postgres with Knex in the backend to connect to our database, as well as the existing Mymizu data. This was served by an Express server. And on the front end, we use React. We didn't add any additional React libraries like Redux or Recoil, as we felt there were no issues with passing the data between the components that we had. We used Axios to handle the request to our endpoints, and we had to set up a proxy middleware to deal with the third-party API as well as our own. And we developed authentication with Auth0. Finally, we deployed the application on Heroku with staging and production pipeline. In the future, we believe that our developments can be further extended to offer even more value for Mymizu's business partners. With some changes to the existing Mymizu database and some data collection tweaks, it would be possible to supply their partners with statistics on which genders use the tab most frequently or which age groups, and then they can then use this in their marketing materials. Likewise, Mymizu could use the same data to help target its users. Tying in with social media, Instagram from a hot refill location, for example, a user can see that they're at a place that has carried out, let's say, thousands of refills, they know this is a place that must be popular with similar like-minded people, so they can automatically post their refill to social media platforms like Instagram to generate more footfall for the refill location, as well as raising awareness for Mymizu. Now Valters will talk you through some of the challenges we faced in the last 3 days.
Thank you, James. We had a couple of challenges. The first challenge we faced was that there were simply too many Google Maps libraries for React, and those are React Google Maps, Google Map React, and Google Maps React. It is quite confusing, isn't it? Too much time was spent on testing all these libraries to see which fit the best for our needs. Another challenge was making API calls behind the proxy in local development. When initially trying to make a call to the Mymizu API from our front end, it was getting redirected by the local development proxy in React. A solution would have been to make the Mymizu API call from the backend via a dummy endpoint, but this didn't seem sustainable. Fortunately, there is a very easy to use library to create a server middleware that sets different proxies depending on the endpoint called. Setting this up resolved the problem. And the final challenge was building an extensible structure in a short time frame. Basically, all the little details related to the React library, like writing flexible components, remembering how to pass data correctly from the root up component down through child components, and so on. Thank you for listening. And down in the right bottom, we have a QR code which you can scan and see the website for yourself. And if you have any questions, please ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team Aqua, Team Ecoforce. This seems like a very useful app for ecologically minded businesses and a win-win-win for them, Mymizu, and the environment. You can exit the stage when ready. Up next, we have Team Pufferfish. Their app, Mymizu-gocchi, adds an avatar feature to make users' refill experience more engaging and fun. They took on the challenge of gamifying their app. Team Pufferfish, are you ready?
Yep, we're ready.
All righty, please begin.
Right, so hello and welcome to our presentation of Mymizu-gocchi. We're Team Pufferfish, and tonight we're going to present our application, Mymizu-gocchi. So here's the outline of this presentation. We're going to cover intro, demo, body, challenges, and finally learnings. So before we dive into explaining what our application is, let me quickly talk about our team. So we are Team Pufferfish. I am Shota Karato, the tech lead of the team. We have Kim Escobar, Eiko Imai, Yu Takaki as a full stack developer. So meet our persona. Here's a girl named Sakura. She's 27 years old. She currently lives in Tokyo. And from her childhood days, she always wants to play video game. And she's also an environmentalist, so she always concerned with environment and advocate to protect it. And she believes, she hopes one day she can save this Mother Earth in these small gestures. Now let's see our goals in this project. So our main goals in this project is to gamify the application so that we can make our application user experience more engaging and ultimately fun. And yeah, we want to have it very interactive, so user can have fun while they are using our application, and user can also protect the environment while they are using our app. So let me show you guys what our application is. So let's dive into the demo. So when you first visit our application, Mymizu-gocchi, first thing you will see is this welcome page. Here we explain our mission and vision, and user can simply sign up or log in from here. And if you haven't got an account yet, you can sign up from here or log in. But for this demo, let's start from sign up. So what you have to do here is you can simply fill out the form, and once you're done with that, you can simply press this button, sign up, and that will take you to the avatar page. And as you can see, this is our cute avatar, Mymizu-gocchi. Mymizu-gocchi is right now very happy because you just signed in. But what we can do here is we can make Mymizu-gocchi even happier by clicking this Find Spot button. So this Find Spot button, if you click it, it will take you to our map page. Here we have your current location, which is indicated by the green icon over there, right? And all the other blue icon shows the location of the refill spot you have in your area. And we even have this filter function so that you can find out the spot that fits your preference. Right, and you're basically going to find the spot where you want to refill. And if you find once you find one, you can click this icon, and that will display the detailed information of this spot. So if this looks fine for you, we can see you can simply tap this refill button here, and that displays the thank you message from Mymizu-gocchi. Mymizu-gocchi is now very thankful for you now. And another thing we can do here is if we go up to the header, we can click this recent tab, and that will show us the refill log you have. Currently, we have one log. So let's go back to the avatar page. So another functionality we have for Mymizu-gocchi is Mood of Mymizu-gocchi. Let's see what I mean. So for this user, Mymizu-gocchi looks very sad. And what happened to Mymizu-gocchi is, if we look at this latest refill, it was 2 days ago. So we have to find a way to make Mymizu-gocchi happy again. So once again here, we can go to this Find Spot button. And if we click it, that will take you to the map page. And you are basically going to find the spot you want to refill. And once you do that, you can click this Refill Here button. And back to the avatar page. Now Mymizu-gocchi is very happy. And one last functionality we have for Mymizu-gocchi is evolution. So currently our Mymizu-gocchi is on level 0. But when user makes refill 5 times, Mymizu-gocchi evolves into the next level. So if we check out this recent tab, we have currently 4 refills. So let's make 5th refill for this user. Let's go back to the avatar page again. And if you click this Find Spot button, that will again take you to the map page, and you can simply click the icon and refill. And back to the avatar page, Mymizu-gocchi evolved into the auto-gocchi, which is pretty cool. And what's amazing with this app is this app works perfectly for mobile devices too. So if we open up this window, and you will see everything will be perfectly displayed in mobile devices too. Yep, it will be displayed. It's displayed beautifully, and we have this menu, which is working solid. And if you click this Find Spot button, right, that will take you to the map page, and which is also displayed beautifully. And you can even click the icon that will display the info about the spot. And you can close it by clicking this button. So yeah, that's about this application. I will pass it over to you. Please take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Shota. So now let's talk about Mymizu and its awesomeness. When Mymizu was introduced to the class, we were amazed with the concepts and the purpose of the application. It is super awesome that Mymizu will not only encourage users to use less plastics by providing refilling stations, but they also make the app very engaging by letting the users contribute by adding refilling locations that they know or see. The concepts of the company and the engagement of its user is so perfectly thought of that it kind of feels like a community was made through their awesome application. As a team of developers, we want to contribute to this movement by making the app more engaging for the users, like adding some features and gamifications that will hopefully attract new users and will hopefully encourage our current users to use the app more frequently. So let's talk about our tech stack. In the backend, we set up our database using Postgres to handle our data. We use REST API to handle the connection between client and server with Node and Express. We also use Knex to query from the database to get the information that we need in our app. We also use JSON Web Token to authorize user to use our app. Next, in the front end, we use React to make use of components. We also use Redux to centralize our states. We also use Google Maps API to map the location that we got from the Mymizu API, as well as the geolocation to get the current location of the users. And last, we deploy our project in Heroku. So let's talk about how we brainstorm to come up with these ideas. Kim?
Thanks, you. So let me share with everyone how we came up with our app. So we thought back to all of the apps that got us hooked. So from Pokemon Go to Pet Society to Sims, and we also listed out all of the features that caused us to enjoy that app. Some of these features include reviews, badges, filter searching, and avatars. Then one of our members, you, said, "What if we have a pet bottle?" So we were clueless at first, but as he repeated the phrase pet bottle over and over, we all knew what our project is going to be. So let's talk more about Mymizu-gocchi. This app is inspired by one of our favorite childhood games, the Tamagotchi. And let's talk about our cute Mizu-gocchi. So currently, Mizu-gocchi has the following evolutions. Once you sign up, you get our baby avatar, which is Mizu-gocchi. And after 5 refills, Mizu-gocchi will evolve to Bottle-gocchi. Your Mizu-gocchi will also have moods. And these moods depend on how frequent your refills are and how many hours it was since your last refill. And Mizu-gocchi currently has 3 moods. We have a sad gocchi. He is sad because you did not give him enough water. We also have calm gocchi, who is grateful because you keep him hydrated. And last but not the least, we have happy gocchi, who is overflowing with happiness because you recently have refilled. Now, let's talk about the map functionalities. So first of all, our users will be able to see the nearest location from their current location. They can also see the spot's information by clicking on the pin. And to refill, they will need to select the refilling spot. Then, the refill date and the location will be stored to our users' data. And lastly, also, our users can filter through our locations. So let's move on to the challenges. Eka?
Thank you, Kim. This is some of the challenges we faced and how we overcame them. We had all these features we wanted to add, but since we only had 3 days, we had to choose what was most important and add the rest as updates if we had extra time. Next, we had trouble using Redux while keeping the user avatar data in sync between the front end and back end. But after using it for a couple of days, we became more familiar. And last, fixing course issue and finding location. The solution for it is to make an HTTP request from the server. The next is learnings. Initially, launching the app with few features is better and more manageable than launching the app with a lot of features, since there might be some hidden bugs. Besides that, we learned what the authentication is like, how awesome Redux Toolkit is, how to make the app interactive through UI design, and how to resolve code issues. Lastly, the future feature. First, more evolutions. We want to add more evolutions to Mizu-gocchi to entice users to get more refills. Second, more games and customizations for Mizu-gocchi, for example, adding mini-games and care features. Last, we want to expand the map to other countries. That's cool, we can spread this activity globally. That's it for us. Please try our app from this QR code. If you want to have more information or have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening today.
Thank you very much, Team Pufferfish. What a fun, cute way of gamifying sustainability. I can definitely see a large market for something like this for those mascot designs. You can exit the stage when ready. And then up next, we have Team Dolphin with their app, Mymizu Milestones, which tracks progress and visualizes the environmental impact of using Mymizu. Team Dolphin, are you ready to go?
Yes, we are.
All right, show us what you got.
All right. So first of all, good evening, everyone. We are Team Dolphin, and we are very excited to share a project titled Mymizu Milestones. But first, let me introduce our team. So first, we have Callum Koike, who took the role of full stack developer. Next, we have Karen Umehara, who is also in the role of full stack developer on this project. And myself, Marcus Atencio. I took on the role of tech lead on this project. Now, let's jump into the app. As a team, we discussed several possibilities for our app and how we can engage with clients. One topic kept coming up in our discussions, and that topic was long-term application engagement. Essentially, we wanted to think of ways in which we could retain users for longer and build a habit of engaging the app most every day. We saw this as one of the most important aspects of the Mymizu app that we wanted to build upon. We also believed this to be beneficial to the environmental cause of the app as well. Essentially, the longer we retain users, the more plastic consumption we will be preventing, and the cleaner our oceans and beaches will become. Now, let's look at a few personas that we based our app on. So first, we have Taro. Taro is a young male living in Tokyo. He absolutely loves social media and is always connecting with his friends through apps. He has heard of Mymizu through friends and wants to use the app consistently, as he thinks it's a great idea. But he struggles to use it or any other app daily. He usually gets distracted by other apps or just gets bored easily. Next, we have John. John is 35 years old. Unlike Taro, John has no interest in social media or connecting online. In general, John doesn't routinely use apps for entertainment. He usually uses his smartphone for work. But John also cares deeply about environmental issues and wants to use the app daily. So how do we facilitate long-term engagement amongst users? Or how do we get Taro and John to both pick up the app and use it daily? There have been several studies on what can influence people to continue using apps habitually. And two of the major factors that come up most are, one, in-app messages or alerts that can keep the app feeling fresh and offer a different experience on each use. And two, incentivization, to incentivize the use of the app itself, or make some kind of reward for the user for using the app. We took both of these strategies and tried to implement them into the experience and came up with user milestones. We used the data from the Mymizu API, along with our own data about these milestones, and tracked the progress towards these goals, or as we call them, milestones. These milestones also offer the user a relatable representation of the environmental impact that they are having while using the app. For example, as we log the CO2 or carbon footprint saved by not using a plastic bottle, we are able to visualize how much that is by comparing that to a serving of beef, or the amount of water that they have refilled compared to the standard size of a bathtub, or the water used in a 10-minute shower. Now, Callum will give a demonstration of our app.
Thanks, Marcus. So here's a quick demo to show you the features of our app. As you can see, we have based the UI on the current format of the Mymizu app. We have the carousel to record and display progress with the addition of a slide for plastic. Below that, we have the daily consumption of water and log refill and check milestone buttons. In this demo, our refill button is set to intervals of 20 liters. Normally, this would be something more appropriate like 0.5 liters to match the volume of your average water bottle. But for demo purposes, this is increased so that we hit some milestones in a reasonable number of clicks. Milestones are our way of incorporating some gamification into our app. As the user continues to log refills, they work towards several milestones of the 4 primary types. The first being water, the second being CO2, the third being plastic, and the fourth being money in yen. Once these milestones are achieved, they become visible on the milestones page, accessed via the check milestone button. As you might be able to tell, my profile is a fresh one, and unfortunately, I have met no milestones so far. But wait, let me chug some water from my massive 20-liter jug. Ah, refreshing. Time to log a refill. You can see from my carousel that I've already started to make some progress. Let's check my milestones to see what I've got. How exciting. I've managed to hit 2 milestones in one go. These 2 milestones are the money type. By not purchasing 20 liters worth of plastic water bottles, I've saved the equivalent of a reusable straw and a tote bag. This is addicting. Let me hydrate even more. So now I've saved 200 liters of water. Let's check my milestone again. As you can see, I've met many more milestones. I've drunk more water than is used in a 10-minute shower. I've saved enough CO2 to equal the carbon footprint of a pair of tennis shoes. Saved enough plastic to build a green plastic watering can. And wow, I've saved enough money to buy a bicycle. I'm excited to see just how far I can go and the long-term impact that I'm going to have by using Mymizu. Now, back to Karin.
Thank you, Carl. I will talk about Teck Stack we use. This is a stack for developing this application. We use Mymizu API to fetch user data. For the database, we use Postgres to create a database for Milestone. We also use Knex for migrating table into our database, setting data, and creating a query. We use Node.js and Express server to connect the backend to the frontend. In the frontend, we use React to create our components, and we use Bootstrap to style efficiently. Finally, we developed our application to Heroku. Next, I will talk about challenges we faced. Our first challenge was to do with our chosen tools. Initially, we decided to try and use Redux to manage and centralize state variables. This proved to be time-consuming, as Marcus and Carl had not used Redux before, and I had only used it once briefly. We decided to scrap Redux as our app structure was not composed of too many layers, so passing props around was not an issue. Then we had to review that decision, as I found that we need to use Redux for one aspect of our app. Second challenge concerned our method of alerting a user. Incorporating a dynamic alerting mechanism proved to be challenging, as we ran into some interesting infinitely rendering issue, which appeared to be due to our state variables depending on each other. Third, we ran into some debugging issue for our local configurations and our developed app. Due to the sensitive nature of environment variables, we could not rely on centralized.env file being stored in GitHub. This led some behavioral difference between each of our versions of apps due to missing or incorrect configuration setting. Next, I will talk about our future goals. We have 4 features we want to implement in the future. First, we want to implement a percentage bar on the future milestone, which helps users to keep track of their current progress. Second, we want to add authentication because each user has their own milestones. Third, we want to add an alert with animation to make reaching the milestone more exciting. Finally, we want to add challenge milestone with other users so users can compare their milestone with their friends.
So in conclusion, by incorporating milestone achievements, we hope to incentivize users like Taro and John to use the app regularly and over the long term. As they hit their milestones, the user will gain a sense of achievement, motivating them to keep playing, increasing their individual contributions to reducing the plastic bottle waste we see in our world today. Thank you to Laurie and the team at Mymizu for sharing your app with us and providing us with the opportunity to work on an interesting real-world project. Thank you to Michael and Code Chrysalis for hosting, and thanks to everyone else in CC23 for listening. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our GitHub profiles and email addresses are listed on the slide. Thanks, and have a good night.
Thank you very much, Team Dolphin. User retention, I think, is always a challenge, and it's great that you've thought of features to encourage long-term use. You can exit the stage when ready. And thank you again to all of our students for these amazing presentations. You worked hard and the results show, and you should be proud of the apps you demonstrated tonight. And a deep thank you as well to Mariko McTier and Laurie Kate and everyone at Mymizu for their support. And thank you out there for watching. Please join us in congratulating the students. Please leave comments on our YouTube live stream. We always love seeing those. And of course, as they say, like and subscribe. And we'll see you at the next event very soon. Bye-bye.